Hello, this is Amir Rana. As we know that after the 4-day standoff between India and Pakistan, now the both countries are competing with each other in a diplomatic arena. The both countries have sent their delegation to different nations and trying to convince that they are innocent and they got the legitimate right to strike inside Pakistan, and Pakistan is trying to counter this argument while justifying its attacks inside India and hitting down their five planes. But what compelled me last night, Sherry Rehman interview with Yalda Hakim on Sky News. And Yalda had did the one interview with the Khaja Asif, our defense minister, before. And in this interview, Khaja Asif had uh, admitted that the Pakistan had made strategic partnerships and with the US and harbor the militant networks in the region. But in the last night interview, the Sherry Rahman tried to expel this impression while saying that the Pakistan is a changed nation and its relationship with the militant organizations was its past. And Pakistan is mainly fighting against terrorism. And this is one of the sincere partner in the war against terrorism. But as we know that the Western media is mainly influenced by the Indian propaganda. And even if not Indian propaganda, the research has been done on the militant organization in Pakistan and in South Asian regions. So this research is still very poor. And it surprised me when Yalda stressed that the Brigade 313 is somehow is active in Pakistan. And this is umbrella organizations of multiple terrorist organizations, including Jaish Mohammed, Taliban, and Lashkar-e-Jaish. It, this was too ironic that this organization was dismantled back in 2010 and 2011 when its founder was not a founder, a co-founder, Ilyas Kashmiri. He once wanted by the US, and US had announced bounty on his head. It was a 5 million bounty on his head, and he was killed in a drone strikes in South Waziristan, Pakistan. And Commander Ilyas Kashmiri was the most mysterious and dangerous character of the jihadist history in Pakistan. Though he had initiated jihad with the pro-establishment organization Harkatul Jihad-e-Islami, and he had fought in Afghanistan. And he was among the founders those who had initiated the jihad in Indian held Kashmir. And he was the first ever Pakistani who allowed entry into Al-Qaeda Shura. And here is the point which I got from the Sherry Rehman's interview with Yalda Hakim. And Yalda were trying to prove that the Pakistan is harboring terrorism. And Sherry was saying that it was our past, as Khaja Asif in a similar program had claimed. But Pakistan's still struggling to prove to the world that the militancy which it remained engaged in Afghanistan and Kashmir was its past. And when these jihadist element turned rogue, the Pakistan, the Pakistan as a state had taken a different course. There could be a reason that Pakistan is still struggling to prove its case. But this interview also recalled me my close friends, Sayyid Salim Shahzad Bukhari, one of the top uh, investigative journalists in the country, who was killed just after the few days of killing of Ilyas Kashmiri, and he was abducted from Islamabad, and his dead body was found in the outskirts of the federal capital. and he had contributed a lot. But in my view, his major contribution was his book is called Al Qaeda Inside Al Qaeda, and basically he had bring up the account from the different militant organizations, internal account from Al Qaeda, Harkat Jihad Islami, the Taliban, and other militant organizations which are operating. And he had tried to decipher their real plan, what exactly these organizations want in this region, both ideologically and what are their political motives are. And Ilyas Kashmiri, when he was found involved attacking on the Pakistani journals, including he was found involved in assassination attempts on Jana Musharraf, and he been detained twice and interrogated. But he was too ambitious that after every interrogation, he tried to come up with new and innovative ideas against Pakistan military. And this was a time when the Pakistani militant organizations were going on under transformation. And Al Qaeda was a major influencer and changing the character of the Pakistani organizations. And the global jihad idea was penetrating within the Pakistani militant organization. And Ilyas Kashmiri was the first who turned rogue and he took arm against Pakistan establishment. And this was the reason that he was invited to Al Qaeda, to join Al Qaeda. And Al Qaeda leadership was surprised when he presented a plan that if you actually want to defeat the US NATO in this region, in Afghanistan, then you have to trigger a conflict between India and Pakistan. And according to his design, that this conflict mainly uh, forced Pakistan to bring back his troops from western border to eastern border. And Pakistan, of course, it was made non-NATO allied at the time, and he was securing its western border and Al Qaeda infiltration, and it was somehow disturbing the Taliban's operations as well. And uh, Pakistan position wasn't clear at that time either to fully support Taliban movement or not. So this is another chapter of the history. It will be we can discuss later. But mainly the Slim Shahzad argument was that the Mumbai in 2008 was Al Qaeda plan. And the mastermind of this plan was the Major Harun, one of the former LET operator and who also had went rogue and joined Al Qaeda. And he had basically contacted and recruited Ilyas Kashmiri into Al Qaeda. And Ilyas Kashmiri had presented this plan, and this plan was very close to the Al Qaeda's apocalyptic vision of end of the war in the East. And this was mainly Ilyas Kashmiri who has somehow sharpened the Al Qaeda plan that how to restructure, reorganize the Muslim terrorist organizations or the Muslim resistance movements in Africa, in Asia. And he come up with the idea of Lashkar-e-Zil. And the purpose of this Lashkar-e-Zil was that it will help each and every resistance movement where they need the help. And this was Lashkar-e-Zil was conceived as one of the trigger, one of the tool to trigger the conflict between India and Pakistan. Though it was this plan, Al Qaeda had executed this plan later, and uh, Kashmiri uh, again become busy inside Pakistan after the Lal Masjid saga in Islamabad. He started attacking on the security forces and military installation. He was found involved in the GHQ attack He was found involved in the killing of the General Faisal Alvi. I already has mentioned that he was also involved in the assassinations attempts on General Musharraf. And he was mainly the Al-Qaeda's eyes and ear in Pakistan. And he damaged Pakistan most with even the TTP hasn't able to damage Pakistan since its inception 2007. If we count the major attacks, which is the Ilyas Kashmiri had conceived and executed in Pakistan, so these include all the major attacks from GHQ to air bases in Pakistan. So this was one of the jihadist character which is still haunting Pakistan. Let's come back to the conversation between Sherry Rehman with Pakistani delegate. She is also part of the delegation led by former Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. And when she been interviewed by Yalda Hakim, and it apparently seemed that the terrorism issue, the uh, Pakistani diplomats and even experts are not well prepared, and they can't use the facts effectively. And this was being witnessed even in this show. And Sherry tried to be compelled or to counter the Yildiz argument, the questions, through insisting again and again that Pakistan is the victim of terrorism itself, and is India is trying to uh, punish the whole Pakistan collectively. Of course, this is Pakistan's position. Pakistan offering investigation in Pahalgam and condemning all the forms of terrorism. Uh, but I think there is a still need to do more homework, especially on the at the subject of the terrorism and counter-terrorism efforts Pakistan so far have did. And it's needed to be equipped with the facts, and it's needed to be equipped with the truth. And the characters like Ilyas Kashmiri, the one who was trusted guy of the Pakistan's establishment, but he turned rogue. And each and every militant commander which still alive or been sentences during last few years in terrorism financing cases, or still at large or hiding in Afghanistan, have the full potential to become Ilyas Kashmiri.